welcome to my first crochet YouTube tutorial. My name is Maham and I create cute crochet patterns inspired by the books I read, or just crochet patterns that turn your everyday objects into something a little bit cuter. You can find some of my free patterns posted over here on my blog. And if you like my patterns and find them helpful, you can also support my work with donations or purchase some of my Ko-Fi patterns that are posted over here. So I recently moved into my university dorm and I bought this big pack of tissue papers. But now I have this whole big pack to use but no place to store it. So that's what we're doing today. We are going to be making a tissue paper box. So whenever I start a new crochet project, I always like to browse on Pinterest and look for ideas, and I found this adorable cake-like tissue paper box, and I really do want to do something similar. The first thing that we're going to start off with is by making the top of the tissue paper box, and the length and width is made to measure to whatever tissue paper box you have. So if you have something specific that you want to make this for, do keep it at hand because we're going to need it. For this project, I'm using a 4.5mm hook and yarn size that's appropriate for that hook. We're going to start off by making a slip knot. I'm going to do this really slowly for any beginners out there. Grab this and then you tighten like that. And then you put your hook through and you tighten it till there's a little gap left so you can chain easily. And now we're going to chain the length that we want for our tissue paper box. And do make sure that you're keeping count of how many you chain. And it also has to be an even number because that'll just make it easier when we're doing the math part for the opening of the tissue paper box. Just keep measuring to make sure it's a comfortable length. So from here till the end. Once you have your desired length, you're going to chain one. So the turning chain, and then you're going to be single crocheting into every chain across your row. So you just go into every chain and you just do this till the end of the row. If you're a beginner, you insert your hook into the chain, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 2 loops. I did a total of 30 chains, so as I'm single crocheting around the row, I'm going to make sure that I keep count just to ensure that I do have 30 single crochets at the end. Once you're done with your first row of single crochets, you are going to chain 1, turn your work, and then single crochet down the row again. So look, that's your chain 1, and I'm going to single crochet over here. I was eating oranges, so if you see that my nails are stained, it's because of that. Okay, so we're just going to single crochet down the row, and you're going to keep doing rows of single crochet. So once you reach the end of this row, chain 1, do another row, chain 1, do another row. Don't forget to turn your work, and keep doing this till this part is half as big as your tissue paper, so halfway over here. So we need to make sure that it's like halfway till here, and then we're going to do the opening, and then we're going to do the other half. So this is my first half. Before the opening, we have our first half, and we are going to be single crocheting on both sides. So we're going to start from here, we're going to single crochet, and then we are going to be chaining the length that we want for the opening, and then we're going to skip all of these stitches that are over here and then single crochet back on the other side. So I'm going to be single crocheting 8, chaining 15 for this part, and then single crocheting 8 here again. So I've already chained 1 and turned my work. And now I'm going to single crochet 8. So 1, 2. After single crocheting 8, I'm going to be chaining 15. And then I'm going to skip 15 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and then I'm going to make sure I have 8 left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm going to single crochet right over here. This is what my piece looks like now. And then we're going to chain 1, and we're going to do the same number of single crochet rows that we did for the first half for the second half. So I did 8 single crochet rows. I'm going to turn my work, single crochet like normal across the row, even in the chains, all the way down. Here's my finished piece for the top of the tissue paper box. I have 8 rows over here and 8 rows over here. Now, without fastening off our work, we're gonna chain 1, and now we're gonna start doing the sides. So these areas of the tissue paper box, and we're gonna do this in one continuous round. So you're going to be single crocheting the same number along this side as the number of rows you have. So I have 8 rows here, 8 rows here, that's 16 rows in total. So I'm going to be inserting 16 single crochets along this side. So there's no definite place where you can insert your single crochet. Just try to find like a hole or any place where you can insert your hook and single crochet there. So I'm gonna go here, and don't forget to keep count. 1, 2, I have to do 16, 2, and you just do the same number of single crochets as the number of rows that you did. And now I'm going to work along the long side, and I'm going to do the same number of stitches that I started with. So that's going to be 30 single crochets, and then I'm going to do 16 here again and 30 along here again. So you don't have to chain 1 or turn your work or anything, just go into your stitches, and you can work along your end if you want to. Keep count 1 and just single crochet all around. So I'm going to do 30, 16, 30, and I already did 16 here. So go into the chain 1 that you made at the start and slip stitch. So pull this same loop through the other loop, and now chain 1 again. Turn your work and go all around your tissue box again. So same thing, we're gonna do 30 across, 16, 30, 16, or whatever number that you're doing. You'll start to see that your edges are curling down to make the sides of your tissue box. So I'm all done with the rows for the sides, and this is what my tissue paper box looks like right now. This is where the tissue will come out from. We're going to start off by making a slip knot. And tighten and put your hook through it. And now we're going to chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3. And now we're going to skip this first chain, and we're going to insert 1 single crochet in this one and another single crochet in that one. So I'm going to go into the second chain from my hook. So 1 single crochet, and then go into the other chain, and then I'm going to have 2 single crochets, 1 and 2. And now I'm going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we're going to be making something that's called like a bobble stitch. It looks something like this. And the steps are pretty repetitive, so it's easy to remember. You just have to focus on how many loops are in your hook and how many repetitions you've done. So we did 2 single crochets and we chained 5, and now we're going to turn our work, And you're gonna yarn over 3 times. So you should have 4 loops on your hook. Your first, second, third, and fourth. These are the yarn overs that you did 3 times. And you're gonna insert it into that. So you have your first single crochet and your second single crochet. We're gonna go into that, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and go through 2 loops. Then you're gonna yarn over again, go through 2 loops, yarn over again, and go through 2 loops. So basically, you're just going to repeat this step, which is yarn over 3 times, go into that same stitch, pull up a loop, and now yarn over and pull through 2 loops 3 times. So yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and that's it. So you have 3 loops in your hook. Now we're gonna do this one more time. Okay, so yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. That was 3 times, and now we have 4 loops on our hook. Once you have 4 loops left on your hook after doing the yarn over 3 times, you're going to yarn over and pull through all 4. Now we're going to yarn over 3 times again, and we're going to repeat the same steps that we did over here in the next stitch until you have 4 loops on your hook. Okay, over here. Okay, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. I have 2 loops right now. Let's do this one more time. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. 3 loops in our hook. Let's do it one more time. Okay, oops, I didn't go properly into my single crochet. I'm going to fix that later. But for now, we're going to do the yarn over thing again. Okay, so now you have 4 loops on your hook, yarn over and go through all 4. So in total, you would have done the yarn over 3 times part 7 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that's your first like little bobble. And now to end the bobble, you're going to chain 1, turn your work, and you're going to be single crocheting into the stitches that you just made. So this is the stitch that you had for this part of the bobble, and this is the other stitch that you had for this part of the bobble. So you're going to insert 1 single crochet here, and then another single crochet over there. So that brings you back to 2 single crochets. So you chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you turn your work. Now you're going to yarn over 3 times, insert your hook into that same stitch, pull up a loop, and yarn over, pull through 2 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And now you're going to repeat this until you have 4 loops left on your hook. 1, 2, 3. Oops. One more time. 1, 2, 3. I have 4 loops left on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and go through all 4 of them. Now we're going to work into the next single crochet. So yarn over 3 times. And repeat the same steps until you have 4 loops left on your hook. I'm using 100% acrylic yarn, so it's a bit difficult to work with for this step, but it has a really nice shine to it, and it's pretty sturdy. But it's definitely not the best to work with. Okay, I'm going to do this one more time. Okay, 4 loops left on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull through all 4 of them. We have our second bobble. Gonna chain 1, and to complete this bobble, I'm gonna single crochet 2 at the top of the stitches again. Okay, and now you're just gonna repeat this step until your frosting is as long as you want. So here are the finished frostings for the top edge and the bottom edge. It looks really cute so far. For the green frosting, I'm using a 3.5mm hook and yarn that is the same size as my pink and cream. I'm just using a smaller size of hook because I want my green frosting to be smaller, and the smaller size hook makes my stitches smaller. So I'm going to start off with a magic ring. If you don't know how to make a magic ring, you can start with a slip knot, chain 5, and slip stitch into the first chain that you made, which will leave you with like a little circle in the middle of your chains that you can work all the stitches into. But I highly suggest that you get comfortable using a magic ring because it is very commonly used in most crochet projects. Once you have your magic ring and you have a little chain one here, chain another one. This just makes it easier to work your stitches inside the magic ring because this one over here is going to be pretty tight. And then insert 12 single crochets into your magic ring. So I've got 12 single crochets inside my magic ring, and now you can tighten. And now you're going to be slip stitching into that chain 1 that you made over here. So I've got that chain that was there, and then that's my chain 1. So I'm just going to insert my hook into it. And now in each of these single crochets all around, you're going to be inserting 4 double crochets in each. So you have your slip stitch that you just did, chain 2, and in every single crochet all around the round, you are going to be inserting 4 double crochets. So let me go here. So my first double crochet, and in that same stitch, I'm going to be putting 3 more. 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and in the next stitch right over here, I'm going to be inserting 4 double crochets again. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Once you're done, you're going to be slip stitching into the top of that chain 2 over there. So insert your hook and just slip stitch, and then you can chain 1 or 2 and fasten off and cut. Now we're going to do the strawberry. We're going to start off by making a slip knot. If you know how to make a magic ring, you can just make a magic ring. Or if you're a beginner and you want to try out the method that I mentioned while doing the green frosting, this is how you do it. You make a slip knot, just a regular slip knot, and you tighten it to the size of your hook, and you can chain 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then you're going to be slip stitching into this first chain that you made. So go into that and just make a slip stitch. Once you've done that, you're going to see a little hole in the center of your chains. So this one right here, and we're going to be working our single crochets into that little hole. So just insert your hook into that hole that you have, and you're going to be doing 7 single crochets. So I've got 1, 2, 3, and 7. Once you have 7 single crochets, you're going to be slip stitching into the first single crochet that you made. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is the first single crochet that I made. So I'm going to be going into it. And this might be a bit difficult. So just slip stitch. And now you're going to be doing 7 single crochets around the round, so 1 in every stitch. So in the same stitch where you inserted your slip stitch, you're going to be doing your first single crochet of the round. So 1, 2. Okay, once you're at the end, you're going to be going into that first single crochet that you made. So this is the slip stitch that I made, and this is my first single crochet. So make sure that you're aware of what kind of stitch or which stitch that you're going into. And then in that same stitch where you did a slip stitch, you're going to be inserting 2 single crochets. Now in each stitch around the round, insert 2 single crochets. So I'm going to go into my next stitch, insert 2 single crochets in that same stitch, and then do it in the next one. And at the end of this round, you should have 14 stitches in total. Once you're done with that round, slip stitch into the first single crochet that you made at the beginning. Be careful of this stitch over here. That is not your first single crochet, that is the slip stitch that you made. So just pay attention to which stitch you're going into. Go into the first single crochet you made, slip stitch, and now you're going to be inserting 1 single crochet in every stitch around the round for 2 rounds. So in the same place where you did your slip stitch, insert your hook again. So just go around the round and insert 1 single crochet into each stitch. You should have a total of 14, just like the previous round. So I'm at the end of my round and I flipped my strawberry inside out. This is what your shape should look like so far. And this is the slip stitch I made, and to end the round, I'm going to slip stitch into the first single crochet I made at the beginning of this round. And now we're going to be closing up the strawberry with some decreases. So we were doing 14 single crochets, and now we're going to bring the number back down to 7. So to do that, go back into the stitch where you did your slip stitch, pull up a loop, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop. You should have 3 loops on your hook, and now you're going to yarn over and pull through all 3. This is called single crocheting 2 together, and we've single crocheted these 2 together. Now we're going to do the next one. So insert your hook, pull up a loop, go into the next hook, pull up a loop, and yarn over, pull through all 3. And you're just going to do this all around the round. So this is what your strawberry is going to look like once you're done with that round. And you're just going to join it together by slip stitching into the first single crochet that you made. And you're going to see that the hole has become really small. And now you can get your scrap yarn. I'm going to be using this gray because I don't use gray in much of my projects. I'm just going to cut a little bit of it up and stuff it inside my strawberry. And there you have it, your cute little strawberry. So we have gotten to my least favorite part, which is sewing. I started by putting these pins in the corner of my frosting just to see what it would look like when I sew it together. I start off by attaching my yarn with 2 knots onto my plastic needle, and I have pins holding everything in place. These are the frostings that I've already sewed on, and I'm going to be working on this one right now. So I'm going to be starting off by inserting my needle really close to where the frosting is, and I pull it and just arrange everything. Now when I go back inside, I'm going to be attaching this green frosting as well. So I'm going to be going through the middle. Before I go through the cream part, so I'm over here, before I go through the cream part, I'm going to be bringing this green chain and just inserting my needle through that. Okay, I don't think you'll be able to see this part clearly, but you just go through and you pull your needle. Just tighten it. Okay, now to end this part, I go from the other side So right over there, you bring it closer, then I pull, and I'm gonna go right back through the center and pull. And doing that just brings the blob like closer together, so then it becomes a little bit more puffy. You can just adjust it. Here's how to sew the strawberries and the green frosting onto your cake. I've already done these, they're pretty secure, and now I'm gonna do this one. While holding my green frosting, I'm just gonna lift it up, and I'm going to be pushing my needle through the very center. I'm just keeping it on the tissue box so you can see, just like that. And then I'm gonna go through any one of these little holes and pull, 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 pull. And then you're going to come back through the hole, that same middle hole. It's really difficult to see. Okay. Just gonna tighten it, position it in its right place. You're gonna get your strawberry and you're going to slide it through your decrease stitches like that. And you're just gonna pull it, pull, 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 and your strawberry is gonna go on like that. You're gonna bring this down, go back through any little hole you see. I'm just going through this part because my strawberry is gonna cover that area. Pull from under, and you tighten. Double check that it's tight. And now just make a little knot. One. To make it even more secure, I'm gonna do 2 knots. And tighten it. Cut. So we're gonna start by making a magic ring. And then just chain 1. Okay, you have your magic ring over here. Now we're going to be inserting 3 single crochets inside the magic ring. Insert your hook, and I like grabbing onto the yarn like this. It just makes things much easier while I'm working. So just grab it and insert 3 single crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Once that's done, just tighten your magic circle. And now you're going to be slip stitching into that first chain 1 or single crochet that you made, depending on what is easier to go through. So for me, this part's easy to go through. There's no like strict formula that you have to follow for this. You just have to make it look kind of like a circle. So like this. And then chain 1, get your scissor, cut. But make sure that you do have these ends because that'll help you when you're sewing it or weaving it onto your cake. To put it on, I don't exactly sew it on, I just place it where I want it to go. And I take my hook, just push it through the back. So just push it in to the space that's closest. And then you're going to be grabbing onto this end and pulling it through. Now you can sew it on if this is easier. I just really don't like sewing, so I find this way to be easy. And pull it. Go through the hole, grab the other end. Pull it, and then you do some adjusting. See if it's like in the right place. Pull it around until you're satisfied with how it's placed. I'm just tying 2 knots to make it secure. Okay, and there you go.